Okay, we are live. Hi, my name is Nikki Wells, and I am a health and holistic lifestyle coach and the founder of vibrantanddivine.com. I am really excited to be here today for the third part in an interview series that I've been doing with my friend and fellow health coach, Deanna Deacon. Hi, lady.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. It's nice to be back with you. I'm really enjoying these higher vibration conversations we're having. It feels good.
It does feel good. It's something to look forward to and getting to share. And I think it's just so powerful to get to have these kind of conversations with, two health coaches, because there's obviously this isn't a thing of competition. This is a thing of us sharing what we're passionate about and love, what we love, and just sharing that with the world. So I feel super blessed to get to have these conversations with you.
Me too. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that you said, that there's so many entrepreneurs in the world right now that we need to all be supporting each other, because everyone has a gift that they're offering out to the world. We might as well lift each other up and allow more of us to support each other so that we can all just be riding high. So it doesn't have to be about competition. It's more just about collaborating and all together just raising that vibration of the entire world. Boom. Let's do it.
Boom, I love it. So, diving in. So we've had a couple of conversations so far, and today we wanted to bring the piece of digestion into this conversation. And I think it's a really important topic for a lot of people. I think digestive discomfort is something that a lot of people suffer from. And so I have a feeling that this will be a powerful conversation for many. Just kind of like briefly, I think my own connection to this, I think we can all put some kind of connection to the digestive story, right? And for me, I think my biggest thing, and we're going to talk more about it, of course, was that I used to take, I had a lot of kind of injuries and illnesses when I was young. And so as a result, I took a lot of antibiotics and then other kind of medications and hormonal birth control and these kind of things that affected my digestive system, in that we'll talk more about it, but our immune system is in our digestive tract. And for me, I think it really showed up as a lot of immune kind of problems and getting sick a lot, and this whole kind of stress wagon that came in. So for me, having this conversation about digestion is really personal, in that the connection to your immune system in your gut, and also the connection between your gut and stress in your life. Those are two things that really resonate with me, and that I'm excited to share with you guys all today. Deanna, how does this digestive conversation come up in your life, or how does it relate to you and your story?
I have a similar story, and I love what you were just saying, though, because I host a workshop quite regularly. I'm hosting one next weekend, and the focus of it is on primary foods. And these are all the components of nourishment that we give to our body outside of the food that we eat. And one of the main takeaways that people get from this workshop is understanding that just because your stomach is upset and you have discomfort in your digestive system doesn't always mean it's because you ate something wrong for your body. You could be eating really, really well, and yet something else has happened in your life, especially if you're an emotional and sensitive person like myself, and it shows up in terms of pain in your digestion. And so it's starting to look at things from that holistic point of view, which is the whole point of these conversations, that it's not just about what you put in. It's the emotions you put in, and it's the stress that you put in, and it's whether or not you have an outlet for it. So we're going to get into that. But for me, I really see digestion as that whole component, and that there are times when you can eat a piece of chocolate cake and you're not actually going to have an upset stomach. And there's other reasons that play into that as well. But for me, similar to you, actually, I did take quite a few antibiotics as a kid. I would get colds. Both my sister and I would get colds almost every month, every 2 months. I know a lot of that has to do with being in the school system and you're around kids with different ailments all the time. But I know that both of us were very sensitive to picking up colds, picking up flus. I had strep throat. I don't even know how many times. I was traveling in South Africa and got strep throat and had to take antibiotics in a foreign country. And that just doesn't feel good. It's not right for your system. It shouldn't be happening. Anyways, so that's a bit of my story. So I know that my digestive tract has needed to do a lot of healing over the years, and it's still in the process of it. But I'm happy to say that since I started really taking care of my own body, taking care of the foods that I'm eating, taking care of my emotional health, I hardly ever get colds anymore. And I'm so in tune now that I can tell when one is about to come on, and I know the right things to get me moving so I can flush it out of my system, so I don't actually have to spend the day on the couch or 3 days on the couch binge watching Netflix. And that feels really good. So I'm really glad we're having this conversation, because I know everyone has some sort of connection to digestive discomfort. Even those of you who maybe don't really notice it all the time, but you know it's constantly there. It's not necessarily making you sit down and take a break from life. However, you are feeling the pain. I want you to pay attention to this conversation, because there's going to be a lot of information in this that's actually going to help you. A lot of small things you can do to just move you forward and feel good more often than not, because that's the goal, right?
That's definitely the goal. I love that. And so, yeah, definitely. There's these two pieces that come into play when we think about digestion. I kind of break them down into like the physical components of digestion, and then also the emotional components. And that's kind of what you were just talking about, is how we are digesting life around us. And we'll talk more about that. So let's kind of kick off the conversation with a little bit on the physical digestion piece. And you really brought up a good point, which is that you could be eating really healthy foods all the time and still be having digestive discomfort. And so for me, as I mentioned earlier, the first part of this is that within our digestive system, that's 70% of our immune system is there in our digestive tract. So when things start to get out of balance or out of whack in your life, you really can, or if you're frequently sick, you really can look to what's happening in my digestive system, in my digestive tract, and how can I heal there to then heal the rest of my body, and maybe what other issues are going on. So that's kind of like the first big piece here, is that everything in our body really is connected. And so if you're feeling sick on different levels, one of the things that you can do is go and look at how your digestive system is doing. And so if you have a lot of digestive issues, it's probably likely that you have other things going on too, other health issues. Maybe you suffer from migraines or headaches or frequent colds, like you mentioned. And so that's my first big point here, is that our bodies really are all connected. And so if you have an imbalance in one place or the other, like you probably have imbalance, like it's all connected. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Actually, Sandra, thanks for coming and joining us here. And she says she can totally relate, that she eats so clean and yet still has issues more than she'd like to know, or more than we'd like to know. And Sandra, I totally hear you on that. I remember in my program, my holistic health coaching program that I did, one of the case studies we did was of this specific culture, and how they can eat all the crap that they want, they can drink, they can smoke and everything, and yet they were so fulfilled emotionally that it didn't even matter. They were healthy, they weren't dying young. And then there was other cultures, some of them being North American, where it doesn't matter how many green smoothies we have and how much kale we put into our dinner, that if we have other issues, like you're saying, that we're not dealing with, that our bodies are not going to be digesting properly. So yeah, I get you. I'm with you there, Nikki. Keep going.
Yeah. So, and Sandra brought up a great point. And so I think maybe we can talk about that in a little while. What are the other reasons why she might be having trouble digesting, right? So first things first, our immune system is in our digestive tract. So we need to make sure that everything is functioning really, really properly, which means that if you are experiencing a lot of digestive discomfort, you might be having issues with your intestinal impermeability. So when Deanna and I both mentioned taking antibiotics as a young kid, or taking a lot of medications or hormonal birth control pills for women, all of those things really aggravate the digestive tract. And over time, they create imbalances in the beneficial bacteria that's in our digestive tract, and they also can kind of wear down at the lining of our intestinal walls. And so when that happens, some people have what's called leaky gut. And so that's when things are leaving the digestive tract that aren't supposed to be leaving the digestive tract. And that creates a lot of really serious issues for people. So if you are someone who has taken a lot of antibiotics or a lot of hormonal birth control for years and you have digestive issues, and maybe you have other issues going on, like, you know, headaches, migraines, all kinds of sleep, anxiety issues, all of that is all connected to your stomach. And if you have taken a lot of medications over the years, then a suggestion would be to look at a what's called a leaky gut protocol. And so basically we're healing the digestive tract with healing foods like bone broth is a great example. And by doing that, you're able to then kind of, once things get healed, you start to see improvements in those different areas of your life, in your physical health, if that makes sense.
It does. And just who may not have heard of leaky gut system or leaky gut before, I have this vision in my head that I saw somewhere on the internet when I was first learning about it. And basically, leaky gut syndrome is your gut wall is not as strong as it should be. And so literally particles of food, of undigested food, are coming out of your system and floating around into your body. And so as you can imagine, that's going to cause a lot of discomfort for different areas of your body as it moves around. So that's why leaky gut syndrome is quite, it's bad. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies and allowing ourselves to heal so that we can close those walls back up and keep our digestive system all together and the food in the space where it needs to be.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarification. And so leaky gut's kind of like the extreme, right? But there's this whole place in between of where our digestive tract may not be functioning optimally, where there may be some kind of sensitivity there. And so really, by shifting your diet and like focusing on healing foods, you can start to heal that. One of the things that I think is really cool, one way that you can start to improve your physical digestion and your digestive, like the balance, is to take a probiotic supplement or eat fermented foods. Fermented foods are things like sauerkraut or kefir or kimchi. Those are kombucha, a couple of examples. And so by kind of ingesting those healing foods, you help to balance out the beneficial bacteria, which your body needs to, your immune system needs to function properly. So that's one way that you can start to heal your digestive tract if you're having issues. Yeah.
And one way that I like to think about that is, so I personally, when I take multivitamins, or if I take vitamins at all, I'll take them before bed, sometimes in the morning, but often before bed. And what I do is I visualize in my head that I'm filling my body with as much nourishment as I can and nutrients, so that while I'm sleeping, it can go all throughout my system and really heal all the places that need a little bit additional love and support and healing. So when you think about probiotics, it's the same thing. You're putting a lot of nourishment into your body so that your system can utilize it to start to heal places where it's a little bit out of balance. And so ensuring that you have those probiotics going into your system, especially if you have a history of taking antibiotics, as you were saying, means that you're allowing your system to heal itself so that it can then function optimally all the time.
I love it. I love it. So probiotics and fermented rich foods, and also healing foods like bone broth is kind of popular these days if you're in like the health food thing. And so bone broth, fermented foods, those are all great ways to start healing your digestive tract. Another thing that you can do to support yourself if you are having trouble like with actual digestion of food, if you think that you might have, it might be good for you to explore an elimination diet, which an elimination diet allows you to take out the common allergens that we consume, like gluten or dairy, corn, soy. You take out these common allergens and then you slowly add them back in. And by doing that, you can see if these digestive issues come back up. So if you eliminate the foods and you have no issues, and then you add it back in and you start to have, you know, stomach pains again, or you start to see your skin break out, or you start having headaches again, then you could guess that maybe you have a sensitivity to that particular food. So doing an elimination diet is another way that you can uncover what might be going on affecting your physical digestion.
It was via an elimination diet that I realized every morning, especially on weekends, I would wake up and my stomach would just be so sore and I would have the sharp pain through my stomach. And I've always been, as I said before, a very sensitive person, emotionally and physically. And so most of the time, if I have any sort of ailment, it's going to show up in my stomach. So I'd always have stomach aches as a kid. I had a lot of headaches. I had a lot of pain. And so throughout my 20s, I noticed that I always had this sharp pain in my stomach in the morning. I'd lie in bed and think, oh, already I haven't even eaten anything. What I realized was it's wine. Wine affects me that way, wine and alcohol. And of course, in my early 20s, I was consuming a lot more than I probably needed to. And I always thought that this was, you know, my stomach can't digest food. What's wrong with me? Da, 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 da. But it was through eliminating alcohol that I realized that when I do choose to consume it, it just means that my body is having a harder time digesting it. And I'm okay with that. Once in a while, I'm going to have some wine. The rest of the time, I'm going to make sure that my system has exactly what it needs to feel good and not have pain.
I love that. And so that's the beauty of an elimination diet, right? So if you have pains, you're feeling digestive discomfort, you have the choice to take action and to start to uncover what might be going on. Because the truth is that we, you know, in our society, we're just like, well, I have stomach ache. So maybe in your case, you would have just been like, oh, I'll just take an antacid or, you know, some other kind of stomach remedy. And really, that's just kind of masking or band-aiding an issue. You're not really solving anything by taking an antacid. You're just putting a band-aid over it temporarily. So really, we all have a choice. When you have digestive discomfort going on, you have a choice to say, well, I think I want to explore why I have this. I don't want to live with this pain anymore, so I'm going to take the next step. And so we've already mentioned a couple of those steps, which could be doing an elimination diet, starting to include more probiotics and probiotic-rich foods, fermented foods into your diet. Those are two huge steps that you can take to really start healing and like taking action, because if you do suffer from digestive discomfort, it can really take a toll on all other areas of your life like we've talked about. So I really love that. Thank you for sharing that personal example of exploring. And, you know, and like you said, is then once you know what's going on, it's kind of a choice. Like, so am I never going to consume a glass of wine ever again? Maybe not. But I then at least have the power to know that this is what it is. And I'm choosing to not consume it every single day or whatever works for you. And you can make more empowered decisions and you don't have to feel like you're out of control and you don't have control over your body. So,
I think that is so key. This is not about saying, you know, I can't consume gluten, I can't consume all these different things, what's wrong with my system, I can't handle it, etc., etc. Everyone's body is sensitive to different things. We all have our own bio-individuality. It's about empowering your decisions. So you get to choose, okay, I decide that I would like to have a piece of pizza and a glass of wine. Sure, I might have a little bit of pain later. Maybe I can make sure that I eat tons of vegetables that day, lots of dark leafy greens. I'm going to make sure I take a probiotic. I'm going to do these different things to help boost my system so that I can enjoy what it is that I want to do socially without having to have those implications and complications later. And oh, it's so much about the empowerment. Just make the choices that are best for you, but be educated before you make the choices. That's what allows you to feel good in your body every single day. And that will allow you to release stress and release emotions and just feel great.
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing that I want to kind of talk about is there's a lot of research that shows that your intestinal tract and your gut is like a second brain. And so there's this actual connection between your stomach and your brain. And so when people, they send signals to each other. And so when you start to have imbalances in your stomach, it really is directly then connected to your emotional imbalances. And so if you experience depression or anxiety, those things, those kind of conditions, those issues are connected to your digestive health. So my second point that I wanted to share is that if you do suffer from emotional imbalances like anxiety or depression, that actually you could be really empowered to take some of these action steps that we've talked about so far in terms of healing your gut, because there is a massive connection. And you know, just for an example, for me, I also am a pretty sensitive person, and I recently did a kind of elimination and detox myself. I like to kind of do that from time to time. And I noticed that when I added back in, I went to a bachelorette party, and so I was there on the weekend. Obviously, we were having wine, and we went to Italian dinner, and I had a ton of bread and pasta, and it was absolutely divine. So I have no regrets. But I definitely noticed for the days after that that extra addition of sugar in my life like affected me, and I felt maybe a little down or a little depressed. And so that's just one way that I'm starting to notice a connection between my emotions and what I'm putting into my body, and how like my stomach is dealing with everything. So it's really empowering is what I'm trying to get at. If you decide to take action and take the next step to kind of uncover what's going on with you, it really can be empowering. It doesn't have to be something that, that brings you down, or that now you have to like be so strict and follow this special diet. I mean, some people do because they have a lot of stuff going on, but it's really about empowering yourself to feel good. And so that was kind of my example there of how I notice how my mood is really affected by what I'm putting into my body, and whether or not my digestive tract is really processing what I'm eating, or if it's kind of like sitting there and like I'm feeling like this, or do I feel expansive? So it's all connected.
I just wanted to say, I think that's really key, the empowerment piece, and a part of it too, because most of us have grown up with the idea that you just sort of eat what's put on the table. Your mom cooks a meal and you eat what's in front of you because that's what you do to be a good child, to be a good teenager. You just eat what's given to you. You're grateful for what you have. As you grow up and you get to make more food choices for yourself, I think it's important to understand that you do have that choice to decide what's going in your body and what's not going in your body, and then assess how you're feeling with it. But one of the things that can be really complicated is it can feel very lonely. If you're the only one in your social network who says, well, I don't eat gluten anymore and I'm not drinking anymore, and suddenly all of your friends look at you like, what are you, a hippie? What's going on? Why aren't you eating the normal stuff? Come on, come out for wings and beer. What are you talking about?
Totally.
Sometimes what can be really supportive is making sure that you have someone to go through that with. And whether that's working with a health coach, like either Nikki or myself, finding some sort of like an online Facebook group, joining some sort of a program where you check in with a group at once a week or once a month or something, or even just a friend who wants to go through a bit of the journey with you. So you have someone that's got your back. You have someone that you can discuss this stuff with. Because if you go to all your friends and talk to them about your elimination diet and all these experiences you're having, and they're not at that point in their life where they want to explore that, they're not going to want to talk about it unless they're really amazing friends who will listen to you regardless of what their interests are. So I'm just pointing out that if you really want to be successful with taking a few of these action steps, reach out for some support. It doesn't have to be something that's super well laid out or organized. Sometimes just ensuring that you have an accountability buddy. Just like you would if you were going to the gym and wanted to commit to going every day for 30 days or whatever it is. Just find some support in whatever that looks like for you so that you don't feel lonely in your own journey.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And so I think that kind of ties into the last piece that I want to share before, and this part that I'm sharing will definitely tie back into the kind of emotional piece here. And that's how is stress, right? So it could be stressful if you suddenly decided that you had to do an elimination diet and then you weren't eating gluten and whatever and all these different things. Like you could feel stressed about that. And so stress really, really, really kind of deeply impacts our digestion and our overall health in so many different ways. And really when your body's stressed out, your digestive system turns off. So this is a huge component here. So if you're trying to heal your digestive system, but you're getting stressed out about it, you're actually not moving forward at all because your digestive system will have turned off because you're stressed out about it. So it's kind of this little like double-edged sword thing where you have to be, in general in life, like the less stressed we are, the more properly our body can function, or the more optimally our body can function. And so when we have stress, there's an increase in the hormone cortisol in our body, and that leads to inflammation, and chronic inflammation in the body is really at this point points to a lot of issues that we have, and including digestive issues like leaky gut and malabsorption and IBS. So when you're stressed, your digestive system turns off, your body gets inflamed, and you have these digestive issues. When you have digestive issues, you have a weakened immune system. So you can kind of see how it's just like this cycle that you get stuck in. So one of the things that I want to share really and kind of hammer in here is that if you are going to embark on a journey to heal your digestive system, it's so important that you are looking at your stress also, and how is that emotional aspect showing up in your body. Because really, if you want to get better and you want to feel optimal and awesome, if you have stress in your life, it's going to be pretty hard to do that. So, so really kind of like thinking about that. And I think it's a great transition because looking at how stress is showing up in our life is obviously connected to our emotions. And since we've already established that it's all connected, the circle continues. So yeah, Deanna, what's your thoughts on that stress, and then kind of emotionally, how does that affect us and our digestion?
It's amazing. It affects us so much. And I think that it's something that's very easily overlooked. And it's also something that isn't talked about a lot. So like I was saying in the beginning, you know, sometimes your stomach hurts and you just assume it's because you ate too much at dinner, or, you know, maybe I ate something and that's why I feel a little bit nauseous, or whatever it is. But I think that we're so quick to not think about our emotional level and our stress level. I hope my partner doesn't mind me saying so, but when he gets really stressed out, he gets cold sores, and they'll pop up and then they go away within a day or two, but it's only ever when he's stressed out. And the poor guy last night was so anxious. He's been so busy. He's an entrepreneur as well. And he woke up this morning and he had a cold sore and he was feeling uncomfortable. And he woke up feeling a bit nauseous and not well. And that's just an example of how your body showcases you. I'm stressed. You need to stop. It's too much for me. I can't focus on the functional things that I need to do. And if you think about it, I'm sure a lot of you have heard this, but I'm going to say it again, but we have stress for a reason. We have our fight or flight mode. And it's for back in the day when it was literally you were stressed out because you feared for your life. Mm-hmm. Something or someone was going to come after you and you may die. So your body's natural reaction is to keep you alive, which is great. We like that. However, we allow ourselves today to get so stressed out over like a million different things in our day that don't actually affect our overall lifespan. It's not actually affecting whether or not we're going to live or die. It simply is an emotional factor, something we've tied emotions into. So it's so important to understand that stress we've put on ourselves, and that it's affecting our body so negatively. And like you said, Nikki, it literally shuts down your digestive system, which then affects your immune system, which is that full circle. And I think that once we start to get some awareness around that, then we can understand that making sure you live a life with less stress, allowing yourself downtime, taking time for self-care, all of these bits and pieces come into place to actually allow you to truly be healthy, to physically digest your food better, which is what we want, because then we don't have pain. Then we're making sure that we're not gaining excess weight because we're utilizing the food that goes in our system, and we're not getting sick. So we have more energy to do all the wonderful things that we want to do in our day. This is the beautiful piece about holistic health, is that truly everything is connected. And Lauren just mentioned that fermented foods have helped her so much. And an enema every now and then helps. And yes, she said that.
Enemas are awesome. And it's like, you know, sometimes I feel like it's taboo to talk about like the elimination process, but it's not. Come on, let's be serious. Everybody's seen those like really cute that little meme image thing on the internet of what your poop looks like and what that means. So it's out there. We can talk about it. So thank you for putting that out there, Lauren. Absolutely. So everything really is connected. Our physical digestion is connected to our emotional digestion. If we're stressed out, that affects our ability to digest, right? Your body can't tell the difference between being chased by a bear and you being like stressed at work, multitasking and trying to like eat your lunch and like do a meeting at the same time, you know? So that's stress on your body, and your body just is like, oh, we're stressed. It turns off the digestive system, and that's it. And so we live in this state of chronic low level stress, which means that we're chronically not digesting properly. So it's so crucial to look at this. And one of the things that I think is really cool too is the idea that our energy, our emotions are energy in motion. So if you look at the digestion in the different phases, right, we have the elimination phase, which is the letting go phase. And so energetically, what are we holding on to? What are we stressed out about that we could actually let go of or eliminate, and in turn, like, create that space for better, like, digestion of what we do want to be kind of experiencing. So we get stressed about these little things, we worry about these little things, and we hold on to them, and we're like blocking ourselves up, and we're blocking our energy up, instead of figuring out what can we let go of, what can we eliminate, and actually just have that full, like, ancestral nutritional wisdom, that, like, energy that really does provide us with everything that we need, right? So that's one thing that I think is super cool in this conversation, is that you really can look at the elimination phase on, like, an emotional level. Yeah.
100%. I think that's awesome. So if there is ever a time when you know that you have been holding on to stress or different emotions and you're feeling constipated and you're not actually able to eliminate, instead of going straight for what foods or what pills can I get at the drugstore to help move things through, first take some time to check in with yourself and ask, what have you been holding on to? What is it that you need less of in your life? What are you willing to let go of? Do you need to go and apologize to someone for something that happened that you're really holding on to that emotional distress about it? What is it in your life that just isn't serving you anymore that you can actively say, I let go, I release, I no longer need it? And see if that energetic movement through your system will also allow your system to move.
Yes. See, it really is all connected.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think a couple of tips that I have for kind of just digestion, like on an emotional and physical level, really, besides the ones that we've already talked about, really is looking at how can you reduce your stress in your life. Are you getting enough sleep? Can you reduce your sugar intake, because that affects us and creates stress? Can you try a new practice like yoga or meditation or breathing to help kind of lower the stress levels and let go of those things that no longer serve you? How can you allow yourself to feel through your emotions instead of just trying to block them from coming on? Like, can you let your emotions pass through you versus holding on to them? And also, how can you really just slow down? Like, we're rushing constantly through life, and that rushing does put stress on ourselves and on our system. So how can you slow down and give yourself a little bit of love and a little bit of compassion, and give yourself that gift of self-reflection and of looking at what can you really let go of?
Yeah, I love it. I think that's awesome. And Sandra also says she's loving this. And Sandra, we're so happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Another thing that I wanted to mention, just to add into that group there, is ask yourself what you want to eat. And don't ask in terms of like, okay, do I want this or this or da 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 da. And take a moment to truly check into your body. And if you're not quite sure how to do that, you can check back to one of our first conversations of awakening your spirituality. Connect into yourself, connect into your intuition, and ask yourself, what does my body need right now for nourishment? Every time we eat is an opportunity to fill our body with the nourishment and nutrients that our body needs. And that changes every single day. It changes with our hormones, it changes with our stress levels. As we've seen, everything is connected. So really start to ask yourself, what do I need at this given moment, and how is this going to serve me? So your food becomes so much more than just food to sustain you. It becomes your full body nourishment. And as you eat that food, you can tell yourself, I'm giving this to you so that you can function properly, so that you can function optimally, so that you have more energy. And more often than not, your body will start to understand that this is an outlet for it to say, okay, well, I need more greens, or I need protein. I really need protein right now. And it starts to actually speak to you, and you start to learn how to listen to it. And when you're connected to your body that way, you're more likely to make food choices that are going to support your digestive system and allow you, like we said, to have more energy, to feel great, and just to do more in this world.
I love that. And one more thing I want to add to that little piece there is on the flip side. If you're eating something and then you beat yourself up about it. So say you do have, the wine and the pasta when you go out to dinner with your friends, and then afterwards you're like, oh, I shouldn't have had that wine, or oh, I shouldn't have had that pasta, and you feel guilty about it. That's really just going to further stress out your body, and your body is going to say, it's going to perceive that as doing something wrong, right? Like, I did something wrong. This food, these nutrients that are in my body now, are going to impact us negatively. So it's like it just kind of spirals out of control from there. So really, like, again, that kind of self-compassion piece of like, if you decide to make a food choice, just do so confidently and do so consciously and say, I am at this bachelorette party with my friends and I'm so excited to be here with them and celebrate, and this pasta dinner that we're sharing and bottle of wine is absolutely amazing and I can't wait to have it in my body, you know, and just be positive about it, because if you beat yourself up, you're just going to get into that cycle of not digesting properly and of feeling stressed out. So the goal here is really no stress and learning to connect in with yourself and figuring out if you do have digestive issues, what do you need to do to start changing them? Because putting a Band-Aid like antacid or, you know, what, I don't even know all the pills that people take, but, you know, these kind of antacids and things like that, they're just Band-Aids and they don't really fix the problem. So feel empowered to take control and start to look at your stress and look at all of those pieces that we've talked about and do it and get well and be vibrant and happy and healthy and love life and everything.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want. That's what our journey is all about, and that's what we're trying to do for everyone else. So for everyone who's watching this, if you have any questions about your own elimination journey or about understanding what your digestive system needs and where you might be falling a bit short or where you could start to move yourself forward to feel a little bit better, both Nikki and I want you to know that we're here for you. If you need some support, please reach out to us. Both of us are health coaches, and our whole goal is to allow our clients and all the people in our networks to live vibrant and healthy and vitality and so much energy every single day. So we really want you to know that we're here for you. Feel free to reach out with us, even if it's just for a couple questions, and we're here for you.
Awesome. So Deanna, where can we connect with you if we have questions and want to know more about you and what you do?
Yeah, I didn't even mention at the beginning. So as Nikki had mentioned, I am a holistic health and lifestyle coach, and my company is Vitality Pure. It's vitalitypure.com. And I really love to focus on more of the emotional and lifestyle pieces when it comes to someone's health. And so definitely for these digestive pieces, I love to focus on upset stomach. How is that connected to your day or your week or your month or your relationships, or how you see yourself in your passion and purpose in life, and how all of those are connected together. So if that's something that you know is an area in your life that you want to move forward with and you want to focus on, come find me at vitalitypure.com, and I'd love to have a conversation about it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Chica. And again, my name is Nikki Wells, and I am also a health and holistic lifestyle coach. And you can find me here at vibrantanddivine.com. And we are really excited to continue this conversation next week, the 21st, actually. We have our final installment of this series, and we hope that you will join us. Again, if you have any questions ever watching these replays, please do reach out to either myself or Deanna. We love to connect with new people. So thank you so much for joining us today. Blessings, be well, and we will see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.